We good to go?
We're good to go.
Hello and welcome to ScrapChat, episode 3. Tonight we're joined by the face of Bamma himself, Mr. Richard Kiely. Richie, thank you very much for joining us.
No worries, good to be here.
It's good to have you. Now, I had notes and we had our usual bollocks, educated bollocks, that we start off we go into, but
some time on any.
The world has just gone crazy. Have you seen what has just come into the headlines?
No, I haven't seen what happened.
I don't think you're living on, if you're living on the rock if you haven't seen it.
Well, I have been living on the rock. I'm just after coming out from training, so I just saw bits and pieces. My phone was hopping. So
now, what tends to happen when something like this happens, the propensity of the media is not necessarily to be right; it's to be forced.
Yeah.
So what we are talking about now,
sensational.
Yeah. So what we are talking about right now is reports. So we can't act like anything is factual, almost. So we have to kind of go up reports, and the reports are that Mr. McGregor turned up in the Barclays Centre at UFC 223's media day, and attacked the fighter bus that had Khabib on it, but also had Rose Namajunas, Michael Chiesa, and him and the team supposedly, as I said, although there is videos, start throwing stuff at the bus, which smashed glass, which resulted in Michael Chiesa being cut.
Yes.
We don't know how serious
that cut is. You can kind of hear in the background, "Oh, Mike, you okay?" or something. One of the videos.
Yeah, the fighter screaming. Rose Namajunas is supposed to be really upset, and Artem Lobov is after being pulled from his fight.
Well, it's really unfortunate that Artem's after been pulled from his fight. Rose Namajunas, I like Rose Namajunas, but she strikes me as fragile at the best of times. So
she does.
And the thing was, Joanna tried to exploit that, and Rose didn't have it.
Out the window swinging digs anyway. So
the Polish, you know,
the angry heading her all the time.
If the reports are true and the worst of what's being said is true, I mean, regardless of who the person is, you can't have that, can you? Like
unless it's Terence.
Unless it's
Terence. Go on, continue.
Richard Kiely, ladies and gentlemen. Terry Brazier, you'll never
Terence Brazier.
We're going to call him Terence.
Call him by his proper name.
Okay. Well, the only problem is the girlfriend's dad's called Terence, so don't be calling Terence too bad a name.
Yeah, but a girlfriend's dad is allowed to be called Terence. This dude who's fighting,
Terence.
He's supposed to be the world champion.
Bamma world champ, Terence.
Soon to be former world champ.
So what's the story of you at the moment, actually, Richie? What's going on with the body? How's the body?
My body's good. Like, I got the surgery, got my ACL reconstructed there in February. So, it's healing really, really quickly. I'm a fast healer. I always was a fast healer, but today I was in just before I came down here, which is why I missed all the
craziness,
the fracas that was going on.
I'm gonna put it.
You like that one, do you?
I never heard.
I'm gonna put it to you, Mr. Richard Kiely, that being a member of SBG, we're in an awkward position, so I will allow you to continue on to Terence.
You can ask me all you want. If you want to go out to the Conor thing, look, there's context, rightly or wrongly. And again, there's reports, and I haven't seen everything.
That's why I said we aren't discussing things that have been made factual, so it's kind of hard.
Well, Dana White basically come out and he just put up a video saying that Conor's team were led in by the MacLife team, and essentially they just caused a bit of ruction. So we know there was ructions anyway, don't we?
Look up Khabib, and again, I'm not trying to deflect from what. Again, I can't really comment on what happened because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So I can't comment on what
Real
happened.
martial artist training during all the commotion.
It was, yeah. It was practicing crane kicks and chopping blocks and all.
Yeah, actually, on that subject, that's coming back.
I can't wait.
Karate Kid's coming back. Oh, I can't
yeah,
wait
so they made a series of that.
They're making a series. Danielson, I guess. What's the name? Johnny?
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
Like a ball bag, Danielson.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make out.
No, he hasn't.
Have you ever seen? Yeah. Have you ever seen that video where they make out
that paper round he had in the first one? He looks like it.
Have you ever seen a video where they make out Danielson to be the bad guy?
Yeah.
When you're bored when you go home, type it in Danielson bad guy on YouTube, and it's weird the way they switch it all around.
Make it look like he's taking a man's girlfriend. I think.
And that he battered all the lads just willy-nilly when they're all on Halloween.
Cobra Kai, that's called, isn't it?
I don't know what they're gonna call it. I just saying the thing. I'm like, grand. I'll be wasting a few days.
Collecting their pension now at this stage.
Well, they're in the 40s.
They're obviously stuck for a few
they're 50s anyway.
What's your man's name? Ralph Macchio, isn't it? Ralph Macchio.
83 or 84.
Sign of the times as well is that it's a YouTube series. It's
YouTube Red.
Yeah, which basically goes to like television is dying.
Oh, it's completely dying. It really is completely dying.
You don't need to turn on the telly to watch or like your laptop, your internet, anything, a tablet, your phone. Everything. YouTube, Netflix, nothing comes through the telly. But Richie, the body.
We digress. I'll go back to this. Let's say Kev here was actually being accosted by some moron. Like with a gang of lads.
It happens. It does happen.
He gets accosted more than you would.
I'm sure that you would be down there like Forrest Gump, tearing up pike racks and throwing them at whoever accosted him.
For him? No, listen, I've been through
You'd be
scenarios
out-
like
you'd be
that
out.
enough. When trouble arises, I run. I run for the hill because it's usually my mug that gets dragged into the middle of it somehow. I'm just one of them heads.
But context anyway. Look, I didn't see what happened, but look, I did see the Khabib and Artem thing, and I thought that was a real dick move. So Khabib with a big entourage,
About 20 people, yeah.
You know, it costed Artem on his own with one guy there, and went Billy Big Balls and thought he was whatchamacallit. So him and Conor are best friends. So to give a context again, I haven't seen what happened. I'm not saying endorsing what Conor did or what have you, but I can understand Conor being irate.
Yeah.
But again, I haven't seen what happened, so I'm not defending or endorsing what
Yeah,
happened. So,
it's exactly like it's same thing I was saying to you. I think I was saying the last podcast. McGregor's the best promoter in the world.
Yeah, right. Hold on a minute. That's promotion gone out.
I know, but the thing is, like the whole can incident, etc. That all just added to the flame, added to the fire.
You look at the situation at Bellator. Remember Charlie Ward, John Redmond, right? So Conor jumps over. But Conor jumps over, and in a way, you could swing that one as funny. Like John Redmond was at the being TKO. You know what I mean? That was the worst part of it. John Redmond's on his knees. But the madness, nothing crazy happened. Yeah. Criminal damage and probably assault has happened. You know what I mean?
Criminal damage. Look, things get broken.
Yeah.
Things get broken. It's fighting. It's feral. It's primal. Okay, so things are going to get broken. I don't mind that. Like, whatchamacallit, Terrence walked in here. Your thing will probably get broken. I'm sorry already.
Poor Fado.
Poor Fado. Well, he's taken a few beats.
However,
anyway.
look, come here. That is what it is. But people getting injured that are whatchamacallit. That's where.
Yeah, we don't know how severe the cuts are with Michael Chiesa, but hopefully he can still show up tomorrow.
I hope so, because I was watching the Embedded with Pettis.
Michael Chiesa got cut.
He
got cut with the glass on the bus. Apparently,
the glass shattered and apparently hit him, so he apparently has cuts all over him.
You can hear it on the audio.
Well, did he? I think there was a bit of back and forth.
I'm not sure who Conor doesn't have beef at the moment. Yeah. It's easier to find who he hasn't than what he has. It's a tough one. But if
I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to comment on that. But the only thing I wanted to do was give it a slight bit of context that Khabib initiated all this. Like, I don't see what the issue is.
And it almost looked like slapped. The interview. What happened with Artem was Artem had basically put out an interview in Russian. So I think it was the Russian TV. Now, the subtitles showed what he said as Khabib called Conor a chicken, but Conor's the one who shows up and fights all the time, so who's the chicken? And then I think Khabib took that as Artem calling him a chicken, so when he confronted him and
well, if anything, it validated Artem's point. If he turned up with a big entourage would beside him, behind him. What's Artem's a substantially smaller man than him as well, so
if I take just turning up with an entourage, just what you just said there, and I apply that to tonight's and turning up with an entourage and smashing a bus up with fighters on it who have probably just made weight.
Again,
sorry, not made weight. We're at a media day who are making weight. You know, so it's I suppose the same context applies to both.
Well, again, we're going off reports.
Yeah, so and that's the way I said it from the start.
Going off reports and sketchy video footage,
dodgy
video footage. So again, we can't. All we're doing is going off reports where we actually saw, and there was evidence of whatchamacallit,
Khabib
confronting Artem with an entourage. So I don't think it's like, and even if it is, we're not in a position to comment on that now.
But one thing I will comment on is Khabib's beard. He needs to sort that out. Like, it looks like he just let a scruff a bit grow and then
ugly man at the best of times. So I'm not sure if that'll help him anyway.
Let's not call one of the best fighters in the world ugly.
I will happily call him ugly.
Yeah, you just did.
No, I said about his beard. Not
anyway, the insane and craziness that was wherever that is aside. Your ACL, you just had surgery. You alluded to. How was it?
Yeah, no, it's great. I was out to training with Dave Roach tonight. So
Big Dave.
TikTok for the lads in the welterweight division. It's not long.
How long are we looking at?
I don't want to put a time frame on it, but it's not long. It's not long. It's not going to be healed for the May show, but just despite that, the fact that I'm not even fighting on the May show, I seem to be the most talked about fighter on the May show.
I was saying to you off camera, there was a bit of beef between you and Mr. Nathan Jones, Mr. Bag and Tag. Last night on Instagram,
Mr. Bag and Tag. I'm gonna bitch slap him and then take his nickname. The only thing good about him is his nickname. He's he's a deeply uninteresting man. His losses are accruing almost as much as his wins now. So look, he's trying to make himself relevant, and the fact that he has to make himself relevant off me, you know, it says a lot for my position
this was the crazy thing.
Not only in BAM, and across, like, there's loads of people called. There's people from ACB calling me out. There's people from all over calling me out. You know, it's not just so. The fact that this moron, this wannabe is calling me out. You know, he's just trying to make himself relevant again, and you know,
in the position you are, Richie, because it's a very strange one, and a lot of opponents or prospective opponents used to say, like, you only have 3 fights, you shouldn't have got your title shot, but yet all these people are calling you out, so they're almost putting the spotlight on you. You know, they're saying you don't deserve it, but at the same, like Alex Lahore, Lahore as you call him, but when he was Bamma
champion, everybody getting a nickname, Richie?
Sorry,
is everybody getting a
only
nickname?
The ones that merit it. Only the ones that merit it.
But he called
me out that I don't even.
He called you out.
Yeah, he did call me out, and like, the thing is, I don't think Alex doesn't want to fight me again. I know this sounds like I'm not making an excuse, but 6 weeks out from that fight, I was in a cast, in a hand cast. So it was about 3 weeks out from the fight where I could actually punch with my left hand, and then 4 weeks out from the fight, I tore my ACL. Yet despite that, you know, and I know people are commenting on, you know, my lack of jiu-jitsu. As soon as he grabbed that knee, my knee slid to the side, and I was there. I'm in trouble. Yeah. You know, that was nothing to do. If he had grabbed it on my right knee, you know, it's a different prospect. But look, it is what it is. But I hit him with a jab, and straight away I was there. I have this fella's timing, I have some fasting him, and I know I can hurt him with a jab. I saw the flash, and he acknowledged it, and his knees buckled, and I was there. I have him. I'm gonna knock him out. And he went for the takedown, which was grand. I had to wait till he shifted his weight to my left side because I couldn't push up my left knee. So effectively, I went in with one leg. And look, come here. If I got that fight again, I'm very, very confident that I could knock Alex out.
Talk me to your mindset, as you said, three weeks before. Like, you basically, you couldn't ask for a better start to your mixed martial arts career.
This moron Terrence was there, like, and he's just using this as an excuse not to fight me. You know, whether you like me, whether you don't like me, I'll fight anyone. You know, and I've no fear of fighting anyone. Like, as I said, like, people are commenting here, it's only 2 fights, didn't deserve the world title fight. Terrence had nearly 10 fights, and he refused that fight. I took it,
and he had the Lonsdale belt at that time.
He had the Lonsdale belt, and he refused that fight. He refused it. So, you know, and then he was commenting and saying that if you go in, you're saying that you're fully fit, and that's bullshit. So, like, he's trying to use that as an excuse not to fight me, you know, or to validate the fact that I lost against Alex. And that, you know, I don't look at that as a real loss. If anything, you know,
it was
a risk versus reward. I went in with a, you know, on one leg, and, you know, if I had knocked him out, I would have been a hero. I didn't. So people are, you know,
but this is the pack.
Don't throw shit, and, you know, come here, I don't care what they throw. You know, the fact is that they're.
But you're 3 weeks out, and that ACL injury happens. You've had a storybook start to your professional MMA career. You found yourself in a huge spotlight. You're going to interviews. You have media days all over the place. This injury happens. What goes through your mind?
Shit.
I can imagine so.
Because I remember I was doing I was sparring. I was doing like a Shark Tank sparring, and my coach Dave Roach was there, and I did I was sparring really well. I was really confident, despite the fact that I wasn't jabbing with my left hand. You know, I was really confident that I'd watched him, I'd studied him, and I don't rate him. You know, I still don't rate him. You know, he's world champion. Same with Terrence. I think Terrence has a lot of strengths, but I think he's very easy to knock out. So anyway, I was in the Shark Tank, and I did a kick, and my shin pad got caught in under my foot. So as I threw the kick, my left foot stayed static, and I kicked. And I just heard it.
Your whole body torn.
My whole body torn, and I just went. And I looked. I remember looking at Dave, and Dave looked at me, and he was just there. Shit. And I was there like,
what can you do?
And I was there. This is bad. And
did you know straight away something really bad had happened?
I knew. I could feel the pop, and then there was a looseness. There was a looseness in the knee. So I was there. I'm in trouble. So anyway, I got the MRI, confirmed that the ACL was torn. So made a decision with Dave. Look, risk versus reward. You know,
you just keep that quiet.
Well, I kept it quiet, but Alex's corner knew about it because they were calling for the left knee in the corner. So they were.
You had knee pads on as well, didn't you?
I had 2 knee wraps, but he knew they were left knee. So,
how do you think he knew that?
Look, come here, this
Chinese whispers.
Chinese whispers get around, and look, it is what it is, and
it does happen. But as I said, you did have a storybook start to your professional MMA career. But that wasn't the start of your career as a martial artist. Even your amateur MMA career, but we go way back, and I've showed you a picture. I actually sent it to you the other day.
There's a couple of pictures.
There's a few around here.
Which edit this into
no, I won't put the picture up, but you're curly afro. How long had you a career in kickboxing? Because you burst onto the scene in mixed martial arts, but you were well known in Ireland, and on the Irish martial arts scene as a pretty high profile.
Level, like.
Yeah, no, I was very, very good, if you don't mind me saying so. No, I started off.
I don't think you mind you saying so, so it's alright.
I did Kung Fu for years. I started off doing Kung Fu under Chris Dennison. I don't know if you ever know, if you'd heard of him, but he's a brilliant martial artist.
So you are a martial artist. You can call yourself a martial artist.
I'm a martial artist. I'm a first degree in Kung Fu.
But do you do that UFC?
Sorry?
Do you do that UFC?
I can't even spell that.
Do you do it? I thought you were a cage fighter. I thought
cage fighter. Yeah. But yeah, I did that for years. I was first degree in that. Won points fighting titles, and then I went from points fighting into. I decided to go into full contact, and then full contact, and won titles in that. And I decided I wanted to do real fighting. I wanted to do UFC.
You wanted to do the UFC, but tell me. So what brought about the change in your mind? Because Kevin did high level kickboxing as well. Like, but what brought about the change in you to say, let's transition here. Let's give grappling and wrestling and jiu-jitsu a go.
Look, I've always kind of pushed the boundaries. I've always tried to push the boundaries, be it like, you know, anything I've done, I've tried to do be the best at it. I know that sounds a cliche, but I wanted to go the whole hog. I did that with kickboxing. I'd done what I wanted to do in kickboxing. I'd won my titles. You know, I had some K1 fights and what have you, and that was just an extension of kickboxing. It wasn't really, the progression
you felt like
that I wanted.
Yeah,
so I went to the MMA. I wanted to go into MMA, and I saw it and I was like, I could do that. And I found out very quickly that it's
a whole different ball game. You have some little 16-year-old purple belt strangling you.
It was deeply unpleasant. I was there. What's the crack? Is this now?
You go from being up here in one sport.
Well, I got to remember the first one of the first sparring sessions I had was against kickboxing was against Gunnar Nelson. First one was Artem. Second was Gunnar, and then the third one was Conor, and they were all
baptism of fire.
Well, they were all stand-up spars, so I was there. This is comfort zone, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I was there. Like with these, I'm more than holding my own here. You know, I'm doing really well. And then the ground game came into it, and I remember there was some little fat pudding. You know, I think he was an accountant or something, and I was there or whatever. And you know, he took me down and stuck me in positions that I never would have
balls in your head and all.
Yeah, Shane says
jiu-jitsu. I think I had a beer rash on my forehead after it. So, but yeah, so that was it.
Did you decide that SBG was the place you wanted to go the minute you were deciding to go to MMA?
Well, that was, yeah, it was, yeah. It was because one, geographically it was close. Second of all, it was starting to be, it was that really after kicking off. It was starting to be.
Yeah, it was really starting to pick up when you started.
Okay, I can do this.
Now you're in SBG Tala.
Well, I'm doing SBG Concord and SBG Tala. So I train with my head coaches John Kavanagh and Dave Roach. So the two of them. So I split my time between both.
What a pair of coaches as well. Two legends of Irish mixed martial arts.
One is the Ric Flair of MMA, and the other one is the Stephen Hawking of MMA. Without the wheelchair, you know, it's just that level of.
I don't want to even disrespect either by guessing which is which, but
yeah, it's kind of like
Dave Roach is the dirtiest player in the game, and John Kavanagh is like
I seen Dave Kay's legacy made a return there against Paddy Houlihan.
That was unbelievable. Like if you take into account, Dave was out of shape. He'd been out training for what? He'd been out training or any competition for 10 years. He'd blown out his ACLs, and he got in and he
both of them.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Both of them. And he got in. He competed against a guy who's a very very high level jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's only out of UFC not too long, and he was walking into a shark's den. You know, I have a huge respect for both of these guys.
Of course,
respect for both of these guys. But
am I right in saying it was a not? I'm not going to say bad blood, so to speak, but there was that kind of. Paddy had got coaching in SBG.
There was a rivalry. There was a rivalry there. There was no bad blood, I don't think. There was a rivalry there, and there was a healthy respect for them. And then
you could see that afterwards as well.
It was great to see when they walked into the cage. The two of them were talking, and they were having a bit of crack, and they were enjoying it. And then when they walked out of the cage, the two of them had, I think for the two of them it was a cathartic experience. That it was almost therapeutic. And I don't think anyone came out of that.
No, yeah. The scenes, to see Irish,
their stock was so high, and I was very very proud of Dave, and you know, and the height of respect for Paddy, you know, and I think the two of them take my head. It was pay for view stuff for me, you know.
Yeah, but even the crowds, like that kind of one match kind of personified Irish martial arts and the culture behind it, and it was all the same faces, all the same people stuffed into a small little place, watching the same people that have been like around.
I seen a video. I don't know who posted it, but some guy in the crowd. I think it was. I think it might have been on MMA Connect or something. And one of the guys goes to Paddy, "Kill him, Paddy," or something. Paddy goes, "Shut up, you, or I'll book you a ticket in here too." And I was like,
"Yeah, well, come here. It's put it."
Like that's healthy though, you know what I mean? It's healthy. Like,
the atmosphere. The atmosphere. We've never seen that atmosphere for a jiu-jitsu match, and jiu-jitsu was, you know, was a huge level of skill, and you know, but
it's the hardest sport I've ever done.
Exactly, but like for mainstream, there's people there that hadn't got an idea about jiu-jitsu, and they were congregating
glued to it,
and there was bloodlust and what have you. Despite it, and it was so technical, it was great. It's great to watch. So tip of the hat to both of them. And,
yeah, it was great to watch.
You know, so
and it was great to see Paddy and Dave. You seem to have gotten close with Dave, really, really close.
Yeah, well,
would it be right in saying he's your main coach? I know you transition between both Concord and.
Yeah, I don't like to, but like Dave is, you know, Dave put the time into me. Like when I came into SBG, and I was working full time as an insurance operations manager. So, and I was up in the weight. I was about 93 kilos fat.
Yeah, because you had a fight amateur at 88 kilos, didn't you?
I fought up as far as like 95 kilos. Yeah, I fought 88 kilos. And
MMA, didn't you? Against Pierce McGarry, I think. Yeah.
What did you used to fight in kickboxing? Minus 81?
Minus 86. Well, I fluctuated down to as far as 81, 86. Like, I fought from like 75 up as far as, you know, I fought a guy that was 108 kilos before, you know, a boxer.
You fought one of our lads, Neil, and Neil's a heavy lad, like, as well, back in the day.
Yeah, he's a heavy hitter as well.
Yeah, he hits hard.
Yeah, heavy hitter as well.
Neil hits hard.
Very good guy, and that was for an Irish title.
Yeah, that was a good fight. That was a very good fight.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, so I went, like I said, I was tipping on, you know, I was tipping in at MMA and my amateur career. Like, I know people comment on my amateur career. And
but that's exactly what your amateur career is for, is to learn. You know,
the record isn't going to be permanent. What I did learn was that, you know, I wanted to give this a go. I didn't want to just go in and fucking have, you know, just tip around and go in overweight. And the two fights that I took them within a week. I took them with a week's notice with no fitness around. I went in and just, I'll be grand.
There were, well, as I said, the one was at 88 and then the other one was at middleweight then as well. I went against a lad from Cork.
Yeah. So, and I didn't do well. I lost the two of them, you know, and was there like, here, what's the crack? So I was tipping around. What happened was Johnny the Dragon Dargan. I don't know if anyone knows that.
Johnny, absolute gentleman.
Johnny, he's a legend.
Lots of respect for Johnny.
Brilliant martial artist as well. But he was sparring, and I stopped into SBG Tala, and Dave was teaching him, and his knees were at him. He said, "Would you mind moving around with Johnny, just our buddy?" And I moved around, and anyone's ever seen Johnny, he's about 100 odd kilos, but he moves like a
super fast,
very fast,
super fast. Very deceptively fast.
Yeah, but so anyway, after the spar, Dave came up to me and said, "You probably have one of the best stand-up I've seen." And I was there, "Alright, thanks a million," like, and that was grand. And he took me under his wing and he started teaching me, and then, you know, when I left the job, he said, "If you commit to this, I'll commit to this." So we did, and I left the job. I had a good job and a sensible job, a grown-up job in an insurance company. So I left that, and we committed to it, and then within the space of a year, was main event in the 3 Arena for a world title.
That was a good
crazy
event
as well.
Like one of the things I give you a lot of respect for is in the era of when Conor was, you know, up here and trash talk and was all over the place. A lot of people was just monotonous, regurgitated the same spew. You kind of did something different. You made yourself known, but your way of approaching was different, and it got you a lot of attention, and then you backed it up with the likes of the victory over Keith McCabe.
Oh, that was some good knee.
Then the victory over Daniel. You backed up with the performances, you know what I mean? So that made more people then tune in, which then took you from little known Richard Kiely to fighting for a world title.
Well, I think I was being fed to the wolves. People thought I was being fed to the wolves with Keith McCabe, so I have a huge respect for Keith McCabe, and I know he doesn't like me particularly that much, but I don't care. But I have a huge respect for him. His skill
he has been around. Like I fought on a show called Man of War in 2012.
I was there, Shane.
And Keith McCabe fought the same night against a guy called Danny Hall. Danny Hall got the victory that night, but that just, and Keith McCabe is still active now. Like, so that just goes to show you the length of time he's been.
But if you have a look at it, because when I was fighting him, I studied his fighting against Danny Hall, and if you have a look at the difference of the progression and skill level from when he fought Danny Hall to where he is now, you know, I think he, like, if you get to some elements, you know, in terms of mentally, I don't know what the crack is there. You know, I don't know if he's overly aggressive sometimes. If he sat back and utilise his skill level, because he's a very good level of striking, and his jiu-jitsu is very good.
Good left hook, if I remember. He throws a lot off the left.
Yeah. Because I was watching that, and I had that scout and what have you. But like, the worst thing he probably could have done against me was go forward against me. He had his timing fairly quickly.
That was a body shot, wasn't it?
Body shot, yeah. And if you had it ducked down a little bit further, it was in his face. So, but
that was that shot where you just
had a time. It was the same with Alex. Had his timing straight away with Daniel. Daniel was a bit clever. He stood off and he was negative, which means I had to open up with jabs. But
bring him into again.
This isn't like, people think that, you know, he's a kickboxer, what have you. This isn't about just going out and throwing punches and whoever hits them faster and hardest wins. You know, like I said, I had Keith's timing very quickly. I had Alex's timing very quickly. Daniel, it was, you know, he was negative, so I had to find a different way to open him up, and I opened him up with jabs, and then when he exposed, I threw a right hand, his hands came out, I had it scouted, I faked it again, and his hands came out, and I was able to catch him with the left, the hook jab, you know. So, but in terms of, like, what you're saying about Conor and what have you, my persona, for the want of a better word, like, I don't, you know.
No, the reason why I say that is because I obviously, in fact, I had actually been asked to fight you years ago when you were in kickboxing. And I was in, we were both doing K1 at the same time. We were the same weights. I ended up fighting Steve Owens, but I had obviously known it, especially when someone's in your weight category. It was actually Chris that asked me.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, typical Chris.
Chris storing it, was he?
Yeah. But on the K1 and kickboxing scene, like, your performance talked. You know, you obviously were highly successful. When you transitioned to MMA, you went about it slightly different.
Well, yeah, I think it's different in the kickboxing K1 scene. I don't think there was no need to. Yeah, there was no need for that. With, in terms of,
it's not necessarily
MMA now, whether you like, people like it or not, is an entertainment sport. There's an element of entertainment as well. If you're not entertained either in your fighter style or how you conduct yourself, you know, you're not gonna, like, there's people, like I said, there was people there with countless, with lot more distinguished records, I suppose, on paper than I was, and they didn't get the fight.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that I was undeserving of it. The fact that I got it, you know, I think highlights that I was deserving of it. One, with the fact that my performances, I was knocking people out, and two, you know, I suppose I'm larger than life in terms of how I conduct myself, you know, in media and what have you. And, you know, people either dislike that or they like it, whatever it is, but they notice, and people,
they're going to put their bum in a seat to either watch you win or get bashed. Well,
the proof is in the pudding. If you have a look at that main event fight in Bamma, if you have a look at it, the previous ones, you know, for King Mo and I forget what his name.
Ishii.
Yeah. You know, King Mo is an international star. You know, the place was half empty. You know, for my fight, the place was full. It was a bad fight, yeah. But prior to that, nobody knew it was going to be a bad fight. You know, like, for the main events in the previous Bammas, you know, the place was half empty after people had saw their own fighters. When I walked out, the place was full. There was bums and seats. You know, I'm sure half of them were there to see me lose, and that's fine. But the fact is, they stayed there, so people have an interest.
How do you approach that, and how do you keep yourself kind of stable? Like, going from, as you said, someone with an adult job, you know. You have a son as well yourself, don't you?
I do.
You have a son, so I know about the stress of just having to be stability in your life, like to make sure you have income and money, steady money.
Yeah.
You go from this to then fighting for a world title, feeling like, okay, this is worth
a dog,
it.
Shane.
This is worth it.
Dog.
Yeah.
And all the media attention and obviously people stopping you in the street asking for pictures. How do you keep yourself grounded when stuff like that is happening?
No, it's enjoyable, but, you know, it's you look for what it is, you know, like, when that's happening, you know, you're flavour of the month. But I also recognise that, you know, there's times when, you know, when I lose and, you know, people won't want to know you, or they'll try and kick you down. That stuff doesn't bother me, you know. I know I have my own core values and stuff that, you know, that's things that I, you know, that I stick by, and, you know, and anything else from that is, you know, it's window dressing. So, you know, it's great. I enjoy it, and I have the crack. You know,
you have to have the crack.
You have to have the crack. Like, you see this Toiler Bruce Terrence and, you know, this other idiot, you know, Bag and Tag, whatever his name is.
Nathan Jones.
Nathan Jones, you know, these two guys, you know, these are idiots. Like, really, they're troglodytes, pair of knuckle draggers, right? They have absolutely...
Sorry, reverse there. Troglodytes.
You have some vocabulary. You're coming out with some words.
Troglodytes, ladies and gentlemen. That's a t-shirt right there.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway...
I still don't know what it means.
Neanderthals.
Fair enough.
Just brain donors, whatever you want to call them.
Heaven, basically.
Yeah. You were getting a raw ale here. You need to write down some...
I need to get...
Just
it's obvious with
some
me.
zingers. Some zingers. But like you see these, like, I'm putting out some really, really, like, juvenile... Like, I have a t-shirt here.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to pop this
It's
one.
a Heron's t-shirt. Now, this has a basis because the chap is the hide-and-seek champion. But this... sent him...
Hold it up there. We're going to actually make this a thumbnail of the video.
Yeah. This sent him absolutely crazy. Right? So, if someone made a t-shirt about me, I'd go, that's a good slacking.
Yeah.
You know? But these idiots are, you know, are going mad. But since that came out, like, I've had, I don't know, I think about 7 fighters calling me out since then. And I'm not even on the make card. Like,
you're going to be giving this t-shirt away. Tell people how they're going to be able to win this t-shirt.
Yeah, so I suppose whoever finds Terence and brings them to me gets a t-shirt. But I don't know. So you can either, I don't know. You can do that. You can.
Can we give it out? Can we?
You can give it away.
Yeah,
you can.
away.
This is your show, so you can.
All right. Well, then, when this podcast is out, whoever shares the video is in for a chance to win the podcast, and we will pick one of the people. Yeah.
Where's Terence?
Where's Terence?
There you go.
Get a booking on, mate.
There's a prize.
Get a booking on, mate.
I tell you, the hide and seek champion. He is the best hider ever. I've never seen it. Like,
I want you to take me back to the history of you and Terry Brazier, because I remember Terence.
We'll all keep it at Terence.
You fought the same night. Was it Bamma 30? He fought a guy from SBG whose name
Nicholas
was
Stolze.
Yeah. And is that the same night you fought Keith McCabe?
That was the same night I fought Keith McCabe.
So he won. I remember because I interviewed him backstage afterwards. I actually interviewed Terry.
He's deeply an interesting man, isn't he?
I interviewed him and Al Foran, so it was quite. You know, as someone, your job backstage to interview, you know, fighters. I remember just being in the middle of Al Foran and Terry Brazier going, what do I do here? like how?
I would have just talked to Al Foran because that fella has nothing to offer in terms.
Well, Al very quickly made himself disappear. When Terry came into the interview, Al was like, "Okay, see you later, I'm gone."
He's too ugly to be standing.
Because Al was doing his Conor McGregor impression, and Terry shouted from the background, "Fuck SBG!"
Oh, jeez.
Did he?
Yeah. So I said, well, we might as well jump in, Terry. And then
see that, like, that just goes to show what type of a moron he is. Like, if he wants to, if he has an issue with SBG, you know, I am probably one of the most vocal proponents in SBG, and he has an ample opportunity, you know, to teach me a lesson. So,
now, obviously,
like all he has to do. So no, who else is he gonna fight? Who else is out there to fight? Like, he's fought like
the only thing I would say, and I would be really honest with you with the category, and I wouldn't.
I saw your opinion of it in your last podcast, and I disagree with it.
No, what I will say is he just won. Thanks for watching, though. I love the fact.
I do watch it.
Appreciate
it. He's find it very enjoyable. The fact that I don't agree with everything.
I think your teammate Kiefer,
yeah,
has been quiet and gone about his business.
The right way you said.
The correct way. No, you do things I said you got answered, and I said I wasn't going to lie to your face.
I think it's the right way that I've gone about it.
Yeah, no, neither way, you know, whatever. But Kiefer, I don't know, he kind of alluded to the fact he might be fighting Storm in Norman Park. He said he's going to come storming at him. But I just think Terry just won. You're coming off a loss. I don't know how that fight matches up, especially when you have someone like Kiefer, who is on a win streak, is undefeated.
Yeah, well, come here, listen, I wouldn't have any arguments about Kiefer. I like Kiefer. Kiefer's my teammate, so I'm not going to have it. Same with Pascal. I don't have any arguments with my teammates over it, and I'll give him my full support. You know, so if that's what your argument is, you know, I'm not going to say. Well,
no, I just mean from that point of view. I don't think Terry's going to want to fight you.
Terry doesn't want to fight me. The reason being is because I match up very badly to him. He leads with his face, and I'm also a realist. I'm not gonna. He does lead with his face. He leads like this, and he runs with these stupid punches that he's very, very easy to knock out. Now I know what his game plan is going to be against me. He's going to get me up against the cage, and he is a very, very difficult opponent against that.
He's tough. He's been.
I don't think he's tough. See, this subscription. Anyone that's called tough is people that get punched in the face. Now, the people that he's got punched in the face with don't hit anywhere near as hard as me.
You really don't like Terry Brazier, do you?
It's not even that. I just don't rate him. He's an idiot, and he's a fight dodger. You know, if he says, "Look, I don't want to fight him," he's a bad match. I go, "Well, that's fair enough. I can understand it. Be honest, you know." But all this trying to, you know, this lip service that, you know, he's only 2-0, only this type of crack. he knows that I'm a bad matchup for him.
Yeah.
You know, he really does know that I'm a bad.
He actually commented recently on a post and suggested opponents for you. Am I right in saying that?
He suggested a fella called James Reedman, who you know, this fella is really, really, you know, the ugliest man I've ever seen. Right? Very, very ugly man. But so this Reedman fella, he's trying to put me against these 2-0 opponents. The only reason he's trying to do that is to deviate the interest away from him, which is not happening. Okay, there's no. I'm at a particular. I'm fighting guys. I'm fighting Alex Lahore there. You know, like even Keith McCabe is whatchamacallit, streets ahead of this Reedman guy. You know, there's no point. You know, I'm gonna fight someone that's in a title contention, and that's, you know, whether it's Freak Show Fletcher, whether it's this idiot bag and tag. I'd
love to see that fight, you and Colin. That'd be good.
It'd be a good fight.
Yeah, that would actually be a good fight.
It would be a good fight.
Have a bit of reach on you. I mean, he's a lanky motherfucker, though, isn't
he? Come here, listen. Reach is inconsequential to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I cover distance very, very quickly. And
yeah, that's true.
If you have a look at any of my fights,
that comes from your points fighting as well.
It does. Well, if you have a look at any of my fights, you know, I don't think I've got hit with anything of note.
Yeah, and that's the, like,
I haven't been hit with one punch of note in any of the 3 fights.
If we're realistic, I know you want Terry. It's very obvious.
Realistic.
Coming back and you don't
realistically, if Terence doesn't take the fight, which he should.
Do you think he should?
I 100% think he should. I think that's going to be the most. If he's looking, right. Who else will give him? From I'm talking purely from his benefit. Who else is going to give him that level of exposure? Who else is going to, you know, make him go more mainstream? It's like he's like, from watching, even by his logic, he had no problem calling out Chris Eubank Jr. when I went over when I jumped in. I know exactly. That's what shows how stupid he is. But he had no problem calling out Chris Eubank Jr. with no boxing experience. He fought Tommy King. Tommy King knocked him out. And I think Tommy King hits hard. He's no like I like Tommy King as well, but it's a different level. It's a different level.
But so, even on that, Richie.
But sorry, just to continue my point. So from his point of view, he can fight Nathan Jones, what have you, and it'd be a boring fight that nobody would be interested in. You know, you'd probably win. You'd probably do a spoil and spoon tactics. You'll hook him up against the cage for 15 minutes and you'll win. If he fights me, he will get huge build up. You will have a huge mainstream interest in it. You know. And
no doubt,
it'll be
the media before. It'll be hilarious.
It'll probably be one of the biggest fights that Bamma have had in recent memory. So that's purely for his benefit. The reason he doesn't want to do it is because he knows it's a bad matchup and you get knocked out very quickly.
From watching Terry's social media afterwards, it looked like he wanted the UFC shot. He was calling out,
you know. He's delusional, man. Like, he's delusional. He's not good enough to be in the UFC. He's not good enough. That's just a simple fact. He's not good enough. He's a spoiling spooner. He has no personality. He has no charisma. The style of fighting, stylistically, this UFC have no interest in that style of fighter. He's not good enough. He hasn't knocked. I can't remember the last time he was knocked anyone out. And also, he's talking about dropping down to lightweight. And, you know, also, I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to doubt his character, but he did used to fight a light heavyweight, a very big light heavyweight at that. So I'm just intrigued.
I didn't know that. Now, yeah,
I'm just intrigued as to how he's going to get down to.
We have a fired up Richard Kiely, everybody.
However, when he does drop down, you know, I like Rhys McKay. I get on really well with Rhys McKay. Rhys, when he does drop down, you knock him out, but make him work for it. Don't make him fight someone else first. Don't give him the.
Rhys McKay is sensational.
Quality,
unbelievable.
And a quality.
But from the point I was trying to make, from a promoter's point of view, let's take the lead up out of it for the moment.
Yeah.
So you're coming up with a loss, and Terry has the title at the moment. Would the best not wait? Would it not be the best thing for you to come out, make a good showing against one of the top 5 guys, and then get the fight with him?
Like if that's what happens, that's what happens. You know?
And that's like I
suppose if you're asking me, do I want to expedite it? Of course I want to expedite it. I want to fight him Terry first because I don't have to beat him.
Everybody wants to jump into.
Yeah, if you're going to ask me, do I want to fight another guy before him? No. If I have to do it, yes, I will.
If you didn't get Terry or Terence, let's call him Terence.
I want to continue my chin collecting tour, I will. So,
who would you want if you didn't get Terence?
I don't care. I don't.
Anybody?
The rest of them are inconsequential to me. The Geek Show, whatever his name is, like he's...
Freak Show would be a good... I think Freak Show would be a good fight.
Freak Shows.
No, I'll be honest, the last fight was boring.
Yeah, he won his last fight.
It was. The last fight was boring. It wasn't a good fight to have on a live TV.
I don't give a shit, to be honest. They can give me anyone. Like I said, I don't not like Terry. I don't pick and choose my fights. Yeah. If you ask me what fight I want a Terence fight. If they're going to ask me if they give me this fucking retard Nathan Jones, you better thank me as well for making him relevant again. If you want to give me this idiot here, I'll knock him out as well. You know, you know, he's not even a fighter, man. I don't really even count him as a fighter. He's a tip-top merchant. He tries to very uninteresting.
Richard Kiely is going off here in the Bamma Welterweight division.
No, but he is. He's uninteresting. What's he offer? You know, like he's not exciting. He's not a fighter. He folded. He capitulated against Alex Lahore. He was broken. I saw the face off against Alex Lahore and how uncomfortable he was, and he absolutely broken. I was there. This is going to be an easy one. Now the fact that it was a lucky win, it was a lucky knee by Alex Lahore is inconsequential because whatchamacallit, Nathan Jones cowered in that fight. He beat himself. That Alex Lahore didn't win that fight.
That
Nathan
happens
Jones
in a lot of fights as well.
He
Like
did.
lads
He's
beat themselves before the fighting starts.
He's mentally weak.
Yeah.
So look, and he's calling out this fight. The exact same thing was going to happen with me. I know by looking at a person, you know, with her thing. He's no heart. And that's, you know, he's a great athlete and he's very talented. And I've said this, you know, he's a talented jiu-jitsu guy and he's a talented stand-up tip-tap, but he's no knockout power. And when it comes down to a fight, he doesn't want to know, and that's just the way it is. So Nathan Jones, if he wants to get knocked out and get his chin collected off me as well, that's fine. I can do that for him as well.
So Nathan Jones, Colin Fletcher, or Terence. Any of you want to lay down a scrap of Richard here? He's calling. Maybe I'll fight the three of them on the one night.
Yeah,
no problem. We can get them on the top.
yeah, we can try to get one of them on the podcast.
I don't mind doing
and get
3 minutes
reply.
work. A minute each. I give him a minute each.
Strong.
Finish him in the
Richard
first
Kiely.
30 seconds.
I would. It depends what way. If Nathan actually came at me and I went to him, he'd be finished within the first 30 seconds.
Cool.
That's
Nice.
Strong words.
Yeah, very strong.
Do you know what? I think either name, everybody.
If there's nobody, and I mean this, there's nobody that is as fast as me in that division, and there's nobody that hits as hard as me in that division. That's just the way it is. If you look at my 2 knockouts, right, one was with a knee. Nobody's even seen what I can do in terms of my kicks, in terms of my right hand. That was a hook jab that I knocked out Daniel Lenachek. He was a big lad and a big tough lad, and Keith McCabe with a knee to the chest. And it was game over.
That was beautiful.
What?
That was beautiful.
Well,
I was there watching
I
cage side watching that
I could
fight.
have left the 2 of them down for another. You could have given them 5 minutes. They still wouldn't have gotten up. So
Craziness, absolutely craziness. Are you gonna go to Bamma in May?
yes, I am. It's going to be the Richard Kiely show again. So it is.
But you're not gonna be on the show.
I won't be on
You
the
won't be
show.
competing.
He'll be part of the show. He'll be part of the show.
I will be the show. Yeah.
Is something gonna happen? Are you
It
implying?
depends. It depends who turns up. There's loads of people there that dislike me, so I'm not gonna be shying away from them. So if anyone
Just don't go smashing any buses, will you? Not that tends
Yeah,
to go down well. Not so well.
It's
will
not
it?
coming out very well.
That's not my style. Smashing buses isn't my style. You know, I don't want to be people accuse me of being like Conor. You know.
Like that hasn't happened.
Well, no, that hasn't happened before ever. So yeah, anyway, so that's in terms of the rest of the welterweight division. You know, there's nobody there that interests me. You know,
And timeline wise,
I don't want to give a definitive timeline. It's going to be very, very soon after May.
that's good.
Very, very soon.
That is interesting, and it
not
sounds
only
like
that,
fireworks.
Not only that, I'm going to be 100% as well. So I'm not going to be making excuses. You know, I'm 100%.
Well, I think it says a lot about the fact that you had that 2 injuries, your wrist and then your knee, and you still went through with the fight.
Well, both of them were surgeries. That was it's a Bennett's fracture, and that was in there in the hospital for a few days. But look, that's inconsequential. I don't give a shit about that anymore. Look, that fight is done. I'd love to get Alex Lahore again. I'd love to fight him again.
That fight could make sense because obviously he's at the losing to Terry.
Well, if they wanted a number one contender shot, I'd fight him again for it and winner fights for the title. And then
you really are calling on all comers. Typical fighting Irishman over here. What?
Well,
But listen, I appreciate, and I hope other people watching appreciate what you're saying, because your job as a fighter is to
promote the show and the fight.
I don't care whether people dislike me or what have you, but you know, nobody can say that I don't fight, and nobody can say that I haven't got balls, because I went in against, you know, someone with a legitimate injury, against someone who's, you know, had an aura about him. There was people dodging him. You know, I grabbed him by the scruff of the neck up in the cottage there, you know.
Or a 90 talent, that was...
90 talent, yeah.
I touched on it earlier, but like going from complete, basically obscurity, but as I said, you were known in the Irish kickboxing scene, but going from that, how does that challenge you as a person? Like dealing with media that you would have never had to deal with before, as you said, having altercations with these fighters now and being thrust into the limelight and having people comparing you to Conor, or your talk to Conor, probably being...
Sure, isn't that the beauty of the sport? Everyone has an opinion, you know. Like everyone has, you know, has an opinion. They're quite articulate on Facebook. I wouldn't say articulate, but they voice their opinion on Facebook.
They use their spell check, basically.
Anytime my something goes up about me, Bamma, there's a litany of comments.
Yeah, we see them.
There's a litany of comments, and you know, I just have a bit of crack with them. You know, who cares? You know, I don't know any of these people, so whatever their opinions.
You have to have a bit of crack. Won't you have a crack?
Whatever
But
their
what's the goal, Richie? What is the goal? I'm sure you have some short-term goals, some long-term goals, but
so. Look, come here. I'm under no illusion. I only gonna be on this for another few years.
How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't mind you asking.
34.
Yeah. 24. So my objective here is I want to get a world title in Bamma. They expect me on Bellator, and that was a very real possibility just before I went into
be injured.
Before I went into surgery. And then who knows? Who knows? You know, I'm enjoying the journey. When I left my job, I said I'll give it 1 year, and I will see where I am.
What a year that was!
It was an experience, like, and I'm very proud of that year. That walking out into the Tree Arena as the main event, and again to Zombie, because Dolores O'Riordan had just died. She hadn't just died, but I remember Aisling Daly had whatchamacallit, but then when Dolores O'Riordan died, it just kind of add, you know, retrospective weight to it. But walking out was something that'll stick with me for a very, very long time, you know. It was a very, very proud moment. So
yeah,
you know,
I can imagine.
It was great.
As any fighter, especially an Irish fighter, walking out in the Tree Arena.
Yeah, and it was full, and they were all singing, and I could feel the energy hit me. And you know,
being in the gym, you are, and as you named Aisling, then you have Conor, you have Chris, Cottle, Paddy, as he talked about earlier. All these other people who have walk the path that you're trying to walk. Does that give you a comfort now that you're in that type of gym with that type of fighter?
I never really thought about that, you know. Well, what it is comforting is that the majority of the spars that I get will be harder than any fights that I have. Yeah,
like there's nothing you can experience in
very,
a fight that you haven't experienced in training.
There's no and that gives me, that's also like when I'm talking here about I fight anyone, that's not bravado, you know. It's that's predicated on the fact that I have fought, you know, I've sparred, or I've been in positional, or I've been in deeply unpleasant positions with all of these animals. And I don't use this term lightly, but there's no easy spars. There's no easy rounds. You go onto the mat in Concord, a half one, you know. There's nowhere you're gonna go. I'm gonna go over this.
There's no easy round. There's no rest.
Hang around with these instead of these, because you know they're equally as unpleasant as the next. You know, but that's where my confidence comes from. You know, very few situations I'm going to be in a cage that I haven't been in. You know,
it sounds like a saying I heard years ago. You've walked amongst kings, but haven't lost your common touch. It's kind of like,
that was Roosevelt, wasn't it?
Was it Roosevelt?
Roosevelt, I think.
We never heard of.
Never
heard of it.
I heard someone in a pub years ago. I think it might have been Matt, our last guest. I think because he's the man for the quotes, and I think he said that one night. And
I think it was Roosevelt. I think it was what the Roosevelts did. That did. It's part of a longer.
A longer speech.
Anyway,
speech.
I could be wrong.
By the way, it's a good quote. Being 34 and being through the career, handsome. We'll debate that. No, you're a good looking bloke. No, but being 34. Kev, you're alright.
You're sound.
Thanks. Yeah, fair enough.
But being 34 and having the career and transitioning from kickboxing to MMA and being a father, knowing what comes with a combat sports kind of lifestyle and career, would you want your son? No
was the answer.
And this, you know what, this tends to be the answer you get off most fathers. From it's, you know, it's an amazing sport. You get some of
your young lad then?
No,
I was asked that question very recently in.
I would like him to learn jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
I would like him to learn jiu-jitsu.
That's what I said to the guy. This guy said to me, we were talking about it. He said, "I'm putting my kid into boxing." And no offense to boxers or whatever, I said to him, "Listen, boxing, you're going to take a lot of shots. If they usually start 5, 6, 7 around that. If they continue on till 18, that's a lot of punishment on the head. Put them into jiu-jitsu, get them nice, strong, fit, great. It's a great sport. It's hard, and put them into that, and let them figure out what they want to do. Jiu-jitsu gives you the same kind of qualities as all martial arts does. It gives you a bit of respect, get you physically fit, and keep it at that, and then see if he wants to go into boxing.
The thing with traditional martial arts,
kickboxing, MMA, etc.
The thing with traditional martial, I'd put them into traditional martial arts as a sport and what have you. But I think with jiu-jitsu, if you're doing it in a jiu-jitsu club, that's fine. If you're doing it in a jiu-jitsu club, I don't know, because I'm coming from, you know, a combat sports background, I wouldn't like him to feel that he had to follow in my footsteps.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And plus, he's a really good soft young fella. He's a really good boy. So
you don't need to change that.
I would absolutely, I wouldn't like him to watch McConnell.
Have you taught him a few tricks though?
No, I won't. No. I'd like hopefully when he's older, I'll teach him to walk away from a fight.
Yeah,
because I'd hate him to, be in any jeopardy or any danger, and just find that balance between teaching him to defend himself and then
exactly.
Teach him how to cop on to walk away, and then it's not about who's being a coward or anything like that when it comes to the street. It's
confrontation.
It's just about walking away, and
I learned that the hard way.
Well,
you have to know, and that's why I try to impart that onto my son now.
Yeah.
Like
that was a very unfortunate position that you were. I know you probably don't want to talk about.
Crazy. But basically I was put in a position in a nightclub. It's a stupid position to be in the first place. But when you go to a nightclub, you don't expect that to happen. But I was basically assaulted and put in a position where I had to defend myself.
Yep. And not only that,
and you come out on the other side, though, Shane.
The judiciary,
4 years.
Which is a very, very stressful time. So
4 years, and
that can easily happen.
I was in at the very early stages of my, I suppose, I'm not going to say career because it kind of derailed a lot.
Yep.
But that put a lot of mental stresses on me. That then, I was afraid of people finding out, and then before you know it, it was plastered all over the newspapers, and I didn't I got sacked from a job over. And I'm going.
They got some dodgy pictures of you as well. I remember seeing one before. You look real angry, and I'm like, Jesus.
They always. That's always. But look, come here. Anyone that knows you, Shane, I'm not going to blow smoke behind. Anyone that knows you have a very,
I'm an
nice guy.
easygoing, gentle presence, and you wouldn't, I know you're well capable of.
I appreciate that.
He's up here strangling me on and off. So
no, but I have the same attitude. I have the same attitude towards my son that I think you would. I think this game, I love it. I think I love it more from where I view it from now.
Yeah.
I think, especially one of the questions we put up, you were going to come on the show, was about the mindset. And one of my mates is currently taking part in Wimp to Warrior.
Yeah.
And he was kind of asking about the mindset and all. And I think this is one of the hardest. And even in myself, I trained in SPG as well for a number of years. And you would go onto the mats and you would get this confidence from competing with the best of the best, And then it would come to fight time, and I just could never switch it on. I would be beaten by the venue, the people, the crowd,
the occasion, and that's a very, very valid point. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
the fact that you're going in, unless you're Nathan Jones, then there's something really wrong with it. But no,
these poor lads are gonna keep getting abused during every conversation.
What I would say to anyone in Wimp to Warrior and what have you is you focus on your own performance, because there's nothing that anyone external can do that is going to alter what happens in the cage or in the ring. So you focus on your own performance. You've no control over the other person that's in front of you, and you've no control over what people say outside you. The only thing I have control over is me, my skill set, my abilities, and how I'm going to deal with the whatchamacallit. That's the only thing you have control over. And it's the most important thing. When you start focusing on what the crowd is saying, or what if he does this, what if he does that, you've a skill set there, and you hope you've trained to the best of your ability, and you hope that on the day that your skills will overcome his. There's nothing you can do for to control what he's going to do. All you can do is impose your game plan, or if you get tagged, you improvise, adapt, overcome.
And you having such a strong mindset as you've just shown there, 3 weeks from Bamma, have not only a wrist, but you have that ACL injury, and then it comes fight night. You've made weight, you've done all the correct things. Surely in your mind somewhere, even though you're reiterating to yourself what you've done, your skill set, surely somewhere in your mind you're going, oh fuck.
I said it wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
It wasn't ideal, and that's what I said. Improvise, adapt, and overcome, and that was the intention. Obviously, that wasn't the case. It wasn't happening. He got a hold of my knee. As soon as he got a hold of my knee, I knew I was in trouble.
I think it's something everybody should experience at least once. It's just that walk.
Knee injury?
No, make it. No, waking the walk. Like
when the walk happens, you're turned on.
It's crazy, isn't it? You never feel more alive.
And even
you can feel your heart. You feel every breath go in and out.
Win or lose, I think
you never feel more alive.
That feeling is amazing.
And there's a sense of achievement. There's a sense of achievement going in and standing in there. Whether you win, lose, whether you're scared, and everyone is scared. It doesn't matter who you are.
If people
doesn't matter who you are.
What would you be?
If you're not scared, you're crazy.
What fears would be ringing around? The fear of failure.
Fear of failure is the fear that most people have. It's very few that I know that go in. There's a certain amount that you're going to get hurt and what have you. But, that's not that impacts me so much. But I know it's a valid fear to have, But the fear that most people that I know have is the fear of failures, the fear of embarrassing themselves with their family and friends, and and letting them down. And that, as I said, is something that will impact and you know, that's when you perform, or the occasion will get to you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where you just have to keep bringing it back to yourself and say you focus on your own performance, and that's the only advice I could give.
Yeah, even with myself, I always knew my skill set, and I knew in the gym I could do a certain amount. Like I don't think people have seen me fight or saw me fight to my fullest capabilities, you know, and that's something I've got comfortable with. I've been okay with it, like, you know what I mean. I never wanted to be a world champion, which is a weird kind of mindset. I was nearly 18 stone. I started training as just something different to do. Maybe this will excite me. Maybe this will. I took to it like a duck to war. Ended up going on this kind of little tour and these little MMA league things, and then before you know it, I'm representing those letters which you represent, and it's like, oh, and like John's in your corner, and you have all these fighters at the show, and I was just like, oh god, do you know what I mean? It just was too much, and I was like, I found myself in a fight where I was like, what will I do? And I was reacting rather than acting, you know what I mean? And then that's
absolutely nothing wrong. Like, come here, anyone, like, I have a huge respect for anyone that steps foot in that cage, because it's a very, very lonely place to be, or a ring, or on a mat, or whatever you do. It's a very, very lonely place to be, and you're challenging yourself, and you're challenging yourself against someone else. So, a huge respect for anyone that does that.
Oh yeah,
and just to pick up on what you said, you know, you never wanted to be a world champion. No, when I started, I didn't want to be a world champion. You know, it's after progressing to that now, but it's not because I want this belt or have this fancy belt.
Couple more world title shots in the future.
It's a bit what it represents. Yeah. It's a bit what it represents.
All that years of work.
All that years.
Do you find that with the people around you, or people who all of a sudden just know you now because of the MMA fighter? They think you're rich. They think you have all this stuff. Like they just see the tip of the iceberg, but they don't see the years that went in behind.
No, I don't. To be fair, most people are very, you know,
complimentary.
Very complimentary, and what have you. And I think people know that, you know, there's not a huge amount of money until even like the UFC and what have you. Know, unless you progress.
Not great money.
No, it's not a huge amount. It's not a great amount of money. The most of the money comes from sponsorships, if I'm being honest, and you know, to a degree, I've been.
Do you want to plug any of them now?
Sorry,
do you want to plug any of them now?
Absolutely. You know, 24/7 cabs, the Carl Goodwin Motors, you know, Secto, Graham Kenny Solicitors, they've all been very good to me.
Graham's a good bloke.
Graham is a
beast at jiu-jitsu.
Beast.
Once if he gets wrist control or grabs you,
wrist control, he doesn't need wrist control. he just has control. I walk in there, right? Listen, I'm about to get my ego handed to me, and pretty healthy. So brilliant, and a brilliant guy as well.
We'll take 10%. So.
Yeah, he's brilliant guy.
You did mention the UFC. Tell me your thoughts on the absolute crazy card that is this weekend. First of all, Tony Ferguson pulls out, hurts himself, falls over a wire. What are you doing, Tony? Watch where you're going. To stop wearing sunglasses inside.
And whoever that guy was who called him and said, "Hey, Tony."
Well, he did what I should have done.
Yeah.
The only thing
looking back with hindsight, would you change Anne?
No, I wouldn't, because I know the reason I took that fight was because I know Alex Lahore. To be fair to him, he'll fight anyone. He'll fight anyone. Whereas I knew I knew he was going to be fighting Terence next, and I knew that if I didn't take this fight and Terence won, I wouldn't get it again.
Yeah.
Or it'd be a long road to get it.
So you're basically confirming now that you don't think you'll get that fight with Terry Wilder.
That's not what I said. The fact that I took the fact that I took this fight, it put me in world title contention now. So at least now that I can fight these top level guys, and whether people like it or not, it's tough shit.
And with the fact that you have lost, albeit due to that injury and Alex taking advantage of it, it might be easier now for you getting a fight. Where when you have two sensational stoppages, it might be like people tend to not want to take a fight.
There's loads of people that wanted to fight. Even after those two stoppages. It's down to, I think that's down to stupidity, down to underestimating the skill set, and underestimating what happened with those two knockouts. People just see the knockouts themselves. They don't see the build up, the lead up, the timing, the speed. It wasn't just a lucky shots. These were shots that I picked.
These are very quick reads that you have to make during the action while someone's trying to take your head off.
Fighting some. Like, if you have a look at my fights, the last two fights, even the Alex, I went to touch Alex glove and he kicked me in the leg, the left knee. All right, that was the only shot that he hit me with the whole fight. And then he was swinging digs. I was in close proximity. I dodged out of him, out of the way. Had his timing very, very quickly. You have a look at that Keith McCabe. He caught me one glance and left hook.
He was pushing the takedown a lot in that fight, if I remember. He
pushed the takedown. He pushed the takedown once and I walked out of it very
he essentially dived in then to try to close
and then he tried to. Then he was overly aggressive. He was looking for the big shots, and and then Daniel Lenishek, he didn't. land one shot of no.
That was I interviewed you twice after both them fights.
Yeah.
Was I your first interview backstage at Bamma? I believe I was.
So, yeah.
Because I remember when there's interviews backstage.
I actually had, sorry for interrupting you. I had a look back on that, and I was actually quite abrasive, and I didn't mean to be.
no, sure. The second one, I went the self-proclaimed face of Bamma. Why'd you keep calling me the self-proclaimed?
Self-proclaimed.
But the one even after Keith McCabe, I remember you came in and when you're basically in the tree arena, Richard, we basically wait for fighters to come out of medicals, and we're waiting backstage, and there's all these different media guys, and we're basically waiting. Okay, who's gonna get in first? Who's getting first? I grabbed Richie because it was sensational stoppage. Like I was like, you know, you want to get it first. Yeah. But I remember when we finished up the interview, you went to walk out, and everybody's like, "Hold on a minute, wait, you have to go back in here." And you're like, "Okay, so this is what I actually have to do." Half an hour later, you see Richie walking out of the room, like, Jesus Christ.
More tired than fucking from the interviews than the fight.
No, but we went on to the UFC there, and Tony Ferguson pulls out. Max Holloway, 145-pound champ, steps up. You have to. He has balls.
Man has balls.
Of course he has balls.
Absolutely, one of the scariest, most intense people with that skill set of just.
I think Conor, and I'm not saying this because I'm from his gym, but I think Conor has the best chance of beating Khabib. Straight shots down the middle, and Conor has a bomb in his left hand, and that'll do damage.
He got rocked. Shovel hands.
He got rocked by
Michael Johnson.
He got rocked by Johnson, and that, you know, so he shows he can be hurt and well. And Michael Johnson wouldn't be known as a concussive puncher, whereas Conor is. Now the only thing is, if he gets a hold of you, you know, you're in a serious amount of trouble.
Yeah.
However, someone who straight down the center. If you have a look at Barboza fight, Barboza was doing all these kicks, circular, and Khabib had his hands up like that and was catching him on the thing, but it was a big target there, just right down, and he was walking onto it. So, my point is that although Khabib is phenomenal, and he is absolutely phenomenal.
Do you think Khabib is too big for Conor though? Like the weight disparity might, like Khabib won, like Conor, I think I mentioned this before, but he won a World Sambo Championships. It might have been 2010, but at 82 kilos.
Yep.
That goes to show you. I know Conor fought at welter, but he didn't weigh in. I don't think fully at welter for that fight.
No, I think it was like 160.
I'm not gonna. I felt Conor's power, and I was substantially bigger than him. You know, so
I'm not saying that you can't do it. I think Conor has that left hand. He has that unorthodox movement.
I think that's the best chance. That he has the best chance of anyone of beating Khabib. I think Holloway's. I think this is going to be a fairly straightforward victory for Khabib.
So we're writing off Max already?
Yeah,
I kind of think a little bit different about the Holloway fight. I think Holloway might try and be a bit smart, keep him on the outside. Everybody keeps saying about Michael Johnson touched them and this, that, the other. But the thing about it is that Khabib's been having these weight problems, and that I think that played into a big factor when it comes to that.
Of course, but he's still fighting at the same weight at 155.
Yeah, but there's cutting what the fuck, cutting 30 pounds compared to maybe cutting 10 pounds. Like George Lockhart, he's a good nutritionist.
He works for both them guys as well.
He works for the two of them. It's crazy. Like,
distinct possibility. Look, on us. I'd say Holloway isn't a concussive puncher either. He's a volume puncher, a volume striker. So I think once Khabib gets a hold of him, it's. If
you look at Max's last loss, which comes against Conor, surprisingly enough, Conor did his ACL in that fight.
You had to take him down,
but
with one ACL was able to out wrestle Max. Now that's 12 fights ago.
Yeah.
Now if you're taking Conor's wrestling with one ACL gone, as a man who had an ACL injury, it's almost impossible, but Conor still did it. So I worry about Max's level of wrestling.
Well, no,
I know a lot has changed.
That was a long fight ago.
12 fights, and
but that's what I mean.
But
Khabib has been doing wrestling beer since he's 9 years old. There's just
levels. Like if you have, who was listening to yesterday?
There's levels to this game.
There's levels.
Yeah, I as you said, there's levels. I think Max, big balls on him, like joined
6 days.
He does.
But I think he's bitten off, unfortunately, way more than he can chew.
Plus, he's coming off an ankle injury, was it?
Broken foot.
He pulled out that fight.
I'm dubious of how much training he could have done within that period of time.
He was saying that he was doing a bit of jiu-jitsu and spending a lot of time with his family. So we don't know. Like, things are coming out of these camps.
Also,
we don't get
here's another fact that I only realise, and it is a fact. Max asked for the fight at 170.
Did he?
When
he cut 16 pounds.
When they called him up, Max said, "Yeah, no worries. Don't even worry about cutting weight. Make it at 170." And Khabib said, "Nope, I must fight for the title.
Yeah,
I must fight for the title."
Yeah. So
Conor is stripped. Dana White said it today. Like he's stripped.
Well, after what happened earlier on,
bigger problems.
Yeah. Well, the latest reports before we had gone off was that there was an arrest warrant. That Artem was. So we don't know, but
yeah, could be sensationalized.
Exactly, but just give us your thoughts on Max v Khabib. Do you think there's any way, if Max can win, what way can he win? Lucky punch catches him?
No, I think he should hit and move, hit and move, hit and move, hit and move. Just frustrate the life out. Make sure that's the only way. He can't beat him in the clinch. He's not going to beat him on the ground. He's not going to beat him against the cage. So he should be utilising his jab straight down the centre and then move
in
on.
and out, in and out, in and out.
It'd be an absolute, if he does that, it'll be an absolutely awful fight to watch because I don't think he has the power to knock out Khabib. But that's his best bet. Do I think he can do it? No, I don't, because I don't think he has.
I don't think anybody.
I think Holloway, if the fight even goes there, third or fourth round, it's gonna get smothered because it's
the thing about Max is he has cardio. He's never shown issues with his cardio. He has heart. You know, whether Khabib can get on top of him, I know he said he wants to finish. Khabib said on UFC Embedded that Javi has told him he wants to finish.
Yeah.
To kind of put a stamp on it. I think that could happen, especially if he has the injured ankle. There's loads of variables, but the main kind of point is Max. I just think it's too short coming off that injury, bit off way more than he can handle.
Yeah, I don't.
And Khabib just seems like a bull,
unstoppable.
Like,
now, if Max does win,
questionable supplements there as well.
Some Mexican burgers, some tacos, some mince.
But what if Max does win? Does he? No, he won't out Sean Conor. That's the truth. Like,
he hasn't got that.
No, he hasn't got
that
the
charisma.
I
don't. When I think of even how he can win, if he can win, I don't know, unless he pulls off some sort of weird choke or a triangle choke, like Khabib makes a mistake. It can happen.
Anything can happen, but on the balance of probabilities, I think this is going to be a very, very straightforward night for Khabib.
I would have asked you about Artem's fight, but he's gone. And then the co-main, Tug Rose. Tug Rose.
I hope Tug Rose is again.
Have you seen her doing on the Embedded? Pat pulls out like 100 tennis balls and keeps throwing them at her.
Yeah, that looked really good.
But the accuracy, like the shots, everything is landing on the ball.
My old coach Norman Kelly used to do that, just with tennis balls.
Yeah, that's first guy who had to do.
So there you go, Rose and Pat. Norman Kelly wants his money back. You never paid him for them techniques.
Norman's been in a few movies.
He's probably one of the best, most underrated striking coaches in Ireland. He's world class, world class. Norman Kelly. So.
What gym is Norman?
Black Panthers, that's where we went.
Black Panthers.
Lovely setup. There's Martin still.
Martin Kenny, another great martial artist. Norman Kelly, I think, has turned out more Irish champions than any other gym in kickboxing.
I remember sparring Martin years ago.
What's the kickboxing scene in Ireland like right now?
Don't know. It's no idea. I think it's
it's the way it's always been. It's
because I know even there, like we had Roman Daniels and stuff over.
Well, Daniels is fighting tomorrow night now on
but like
kickboxing.
The weather made a mess of that, but like it wasn't. I know Damon Darker won. The
Irish, but the whole thing about the Irish kickboxing scene, it is the way it's always been. There was other associations that used to exist, the IKF etc. in Ireland, but
it went through a period. Where all the top fighters were with kickboxing in Ireland.
Yeah,
because the IKF kind of was disjointed. I think Joe Canning was.
Joe was.
I don't think he was well, and for that period it was kind of a golden period where.
You're going to the world, getting competition. It was going well. Like
top guys there, and like again, there was no national squad training. There was no easy spars.
Strange, just the way when mixed martial arts became what it is. How just it's kind of swallowed up. The only one who competes with it is boxing. Boxing is still relevant as like. I
think the reason that boxing is competes with it is because there's an entertainment value.
Yeah,
it's the drama that goes on outside the cage.
Dean Barry's on the. It's on the Bamma card.
Bamma card, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Dean's on the card, and he's heading over to Rufus Sport to do a few weeks training.
Myself and Dean had words there.
Really?
I saw that, yeah. He didn't take kindly to you calling him out at all. In fact, I think he actually delete it.
He did, yeah.
Did you delete it?
Sorry?
Did you delete it?
I deleted it subsequent to his...
request.
So, essentially what happened was that...
Do you just go around causing arguments all the time, Richie?
No. I'd actually helped Dean out a lot, and I liked Dean. However, this was the second incident that occurred.
The first being
that when I was coming up to a fight in Bamma, and he had mentioned that he was the best striker in Tala or MMA or something to that effect. which was a very veiled thing, very veiled comment, because I was quite prominent around Tala at the time.
And you took that personally?
Well, it was just, I think, no, I didn't take it personally. I let that one slide, and I just questioned it. And he was like, "Oh, I didn't mean anything." That was the second. The second thing was a lot more overt. He'd put up a picture of himself saying he was the face.
His girlfriend posted it, did she?
His girlfriend, but tagged him in it.
Do you know what I found?
Tagged him. He was put it up as the face of Bamma. So,
which everybody knows is your shtick.
I don't even mind that, but that was the second instance. So I called him when I was there. Look, that sounds like a call out. So I tell you what, I'll fight you at Bamma.
Is Dana training up in SPG Tala a little bit, or? Because I actually went to college with his brother.
He was doing a little bit up there, and I think he's doing a bit of bits and pieces around. So
you know what I found strange. He asked you
so
to take it down, and like he didn't want to fight. He even said it in a public platform and forum. He didn't want to fight.
Look, I'm not gonna I hope that Dean does well. I do hope that Dean does well. However, if he puts himself or puts me in a position where, if anyone puts me in a position where they're going to call me out or have a go, you know,
steal your name, your moniker.
It's indirect. It's indirect.
Well, I think he said it's going to have a.
Loads of people call themselves the face of Bamma. Lots of people want to call themselves the face of Bamma since the original face of Bamma.
The OG.
So why then Dean Barry being called the face of Bamma? Do you have a problem with?
Because, well, I don't have a problem with other people saying it as well. You know, if they want to.
It seems you don't have a problem.
No, if they want to. Well, first of all, because I knew Dean, I helped him out, and I thought that was a. The
respect thing between the two.
Yeah, I thought that was a disrespectful move. Secondly, you know, like I said, it was the second instance. And look, if he's going to call me, if he's going to put himself as the face of Bamma, well, then he has to acknowledge that people are going to want to have a pop. So you can see everyone was calling me out. I call myself the face of Bamma. So if he wants to be the face of Bamma, well then.
He has to answer.
He's got to have to beat the face of Bamma.
How just boys coming from a similar backgrounds?
No,
Stand up. Point fighting, he's point fighting, you're kickboxing.
It's a little bit different.
You know what I mean?
What are you going to ask?
How do you see yourself matching up with someone of a style? How do you feel yourself?
I would suggest.
How do you see yourself matching up with Dean? And I'm sorry to be the devil's advocate here, but it's interesting.
Okay, well I would say that Dean is is not long in the game. I think he fights at lightweight.
He has this fight at welter, is it?
I'd make lightweight. However, it would be a short night. I'll put it that way.
So I put it to you then. Dean Barry puts in an impressive performance on Bamma in Dublin.
May 12th.
May 12th in Dublin. An all Tala affair. Never mind an all Ireland affair.
Well, look, it would sell
to see who the best striker in Tala is.
High level kickboxers.
I am the best striker.
I think we just solved the issue of Richie's lack of opponent.
Fight. Oh.
Did we just play Bamma matchmakers?
Like I said, I want to see Dean do well. I like him. I like what he's doing for Tala. I would hope that he wouldn't put me, or he wouldn't put up a comment like that again, or be a bit more clever, because I think the more people that come out of Tala, the positive role models is great, and the area needs them, particularly given what happened during the snow.
What little?
It's only a little bit of trouble.
But so to that end, I think he's doing well. However, if he puts me in that position again, I will collar him again, and I will address it with him again. If he did accept the fight, well then I would have no problem making that fight.
I'd like to see that fight.
I'd like to see that fight.
I'd really like to see that fight. Did you see Joshua?
Who do you think would win?
To be honest with you, I'm getting honest. I've heard of Dean, but I don't know enough about him to be able to back up a skill set. Obviously, you coming from a similar background of stand up, with him being less in the game, I'd imagine you're grappling or ground skills.
I understand the kickboxing style as much.
Right.
No, I do understand kickboxing and points karate.
No, hang on. I have a huge respect for point fighting karate, and I went to Dave Heffernan before
Dave's teaching in SPG now.
Yeah, point fighting has huge benefits. It allows it's for time and speed, covering distance, dexterity, and your.
I used to hate fighting those fuckers.
It sounds like a UFC 1 fight. You have two different stand-up strikers who probably won't take it to the ground. Who are probably going to go out.
Raymond Daniels is probably one of the best point fighters in the last 30 years, maybe.
He transferred into
and he transferred that very well.
So, but Raymond Daniels is
a little bit different, but I used to see him in light contact, and he never used to do that too well.
I'd love the fight. You see what Mark Castley, him and Mark Castley. I was actually supposed to be me, Aidan Brooks, Mark Castley, and Raymond Daniels on that.
Yeah, and then
In that
the
form.
one
That,
that
that
opened.
was a couple of years ago. That
City West.
Strength and Honor or something
Strength and
strange.
Honor,
Yeah.
But that was
Pride,
the
Because
Pride
you
and
had
Glory or something. was it?
Arnie Exacson fought that night as well.
we had against Vinny DeRusco,
Ash
Paul,
Daly fought that
Paul
night.
Norton. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, because I was in SBG at that time.
Yeah.
But I think
I
they
will-
were scoring
I
it with the point style. Or the kind of kickboxing and clicking style. It
I
was
think
a bit
so. I
weird.
think so. But it was great. Mark Castley and him had a good fight. Yeah, good fight.
Yeah.
So.
But anyways, ScrapChat episode 3. Richie, we're delighted to have you on.
Cheers,
Thanks so much. Thanks for coming, Richie.
No worries.
Just want to give a shout out to Jim Trishan, IrishFighting.com, and Fusco's and Meat Street for once again sponsoring the show on the Amazon.
Yeah.
And just to remind you again, Richie has this T-shirt here to give away, which we are going to give away for him.
You can give away.
Do you know what? We're going to get him to sign it as
I'm
well.
just gonna
So
keep it and wear it.
if you do share this, you are going into the chance to win this T-shirt, which will be signed by Richie, the face of Bamma.
And shout out to Custom Creations who made it first. Thanks, many guys.
There you go. Episode 3 in the books, Richie.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right, guys. See you later.